Welcome to another episode of English Broadcast Studio. I'm your host, John.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're going to dive into an exciting way of improving your English vocabulary. And guess what? We're doing it with movies.
That's right, Emma. Movies are not only a great source of entertainment, but also an amazing tool for learning a language. They expose us to real-life conversations, slang, idiomatic expressions, and even cultural nuances, all while keeping us engaged.
Exactly. And one of the best parts about using movies to learn English is that you get to hear words and phrases in context, making them much easier to remember and use.
So true, Emma, but where should we start? There are so many different types of movies to choose from. Let's talk about the types of movies that are best for learning English vocabulary.
Great point, John. If you're just starting out, I recommend watching movies with simple language and clear dialogue. Comedies, family films, and animated movies are perfect for this.
Absolutely. Movies like Toy Story or The Lion King use simple yet effective vocabulary. They introduce words in everyday contexts that are easy to understand.
Another great genre is drama. Movies like Forrest Gump or The Pursuit of Happiness have emotional depth, but also use relatable vocabulary that you can practice in real-life situations.
Yes, and if you're at an intermediate or advanced level, you can move on to more complex movies like The Social Network or Inception. These films challenge your listening skills and introduce you to higher-level vocabulary.
That's right. These films give you a chance to hear complex sentences and advanced vocabulary, helping you sound more fluent. But here's a tip. Don't worry if you don't understand everything on the first watch.
Absolutely. It's normal. The key is to keep practicing and learning new words every time you watch. Plus, if you hear a word or phrase you don't understand, you can always look it up or use subtitles.
Speaking of subtitles, John, I highly recommend using them when you're starting out. It's a great way to match spoken words with written ones and expand your vocabulary at the same time.
Great suggestion, Emma. Subtitles can really help with understanding unfamiliar words and expressions. Just make sure to challenge yourself by turning them off once you're more comfortable.
Exactly. And remember, learning vocabulary isn't just about memorizing words. It's about understanding how to use them in real-life situations.
Yes, right. Now, let's dive deeper into some specific words and phrases that you can learn from movies. First, let's talk about some everyday vocabulary that you'll hear in movies like Friends or How I Met Your Mother.
These sitcoms are packed with useful phrases. For example, words like hang out, binge watch, catch up, and get together are commonly used in everyday conversations.
Exactly. And you might also hear more informal words like chill or crash, which are slang terms for relaxing or staying somewhere temporarily. These are terms that you won't always find in textbooks, but they're super useful.
Right. And let's not forget idiomatic expressions. You'll hear phrases like break the ice, hit the nail on the head, or in a nutshell. In movies, these idioms add flavor to conversations and help you sound more like a native speaker.
Speaking of idioms, I love how The Simpsons teaches some hilarious phrases. For instance, dough has become synonymous with a moment of realization or mistake.
Yes! It's such a simple but effective example of how TV shows and movies introduce idiomatic expressions. The beauty of idioms is that they're often used in specific contexts, and you can easily learn them by watching how characters use them.
Exactly. And another thing about movies is that they help you pick up on cultural nuances. Different cultures use language differently, and movies give you a glimpse into how people speak in real-world situations.
Right, John. For example, watching movies from the UK like Notting Hill or Love Actually can introduce you to British English and slang terms, while American movies like The Godfather or Pulp Fiction will show you the American way of speaking.
It's a great way to become more versatile in your English skills. So, let's say you're watching a British movie and hear the word brolly. That's British slang for umbrella.
Exactly. And if you hear the term cheers, it might seem like a casual goodbye in British films, but in American films, cheers might only be used when someone is making a toast or celebrating.
The more movies you watch, the more you'll learn how language varies between different English-speaking countries.
And that's one of the amazing things about learning English with movies. It's not just about vocabulary, but also about understanding the culture behind the language.
Right. Now let's shift gears and talk about how you can actively engage with the vocabulary you're learning from movies. First off, practice makes perfect.
That's right! You can use flashcards to remember new words, or even start a movie journal. Every time you watch a movie, write down the new words or phrases you hear, and try to use them in your own conversations.
Another idea is to mimic the characters. Try repeating lines or sentences exactly as you hear them in the movie. It helps with pronunciation and understanding the tone of voice used in different contexts.
Great tip, John. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become with using these new words and expressions.
So we've discussed some great ways to actively engage with the vocabulary you're learning from movies. But let's dive into one of my favorite strategies, using movie quotes to improve your speaking skills.
Absolutely, John. Movie quotes are not only fun, but they're also a great way to memorize phrases that you can use in everyday conversations. Plus, using quotes from famous films can make you sound more natural and fluent.
Exactly. Let's take a classic example from The Godfather. You might hear the famous line, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse." This phrase is an excellent example of how you can use memorable quotes to sound like a native speaker.
And we've all heard, "May the Force be with you" from Star Wars. It's an iconic line, but do you know it can also be used to wish someone good luck or success? You could say, "Good luck on your presentation today. May the Force be with you."
I love that one, Emma. And don't forget that movie quotes also help with your intonation and stress. If you repeat the lines the way the actors delivered them, you'll improve your pronunciation and rhythm.
Definitely, John. And speaking of intonation, let's talk about how movies teach you the natural flow of conversations. A lot of English learners struggle with how to sound natural when speaking, but movies provide an easy way to learn the rhythm of everyday speech.
Right. Take a scene from Friends, for example. When Rachel says, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening," the emphasis is on the "oh" and "God," showing surprise and emotion. Understanding the stress in sentences like this is key to sounding more fluent.
Exactly. Movies give you authentic dialogues where you can hear natural pauses, emotions, and intonations. So, when you're repeating sentences from movies, focus on how the characters express their emotions and feelings through their voices.
And this brings us to another essential point, listening skills. Watching movies is an excellent way to improve your ability to understand native English speakers.
Absolutely, John. You might find it challenging at first, but over time, you'll start recognizing common phrases, and the movie's context will help you understand even the most complex dialogues.
Exactly. In movies, characters often speak fast, use slang, or have accents that can challenge your listening skills. But once you become familiar with these features, your ability to understand different accents and informal language will increase significantly.
And if you're struggling with the speed of the dialogue, don't hesitate to rewind and replay certain scenes. Movies give you the flexibility to replay sections until you fully understand what's being said.
That's a fantastic point, Emma. Repetition is key. You might need to watch a scene a few times before catching every word, but that's part of the process of mastering English.
Another great tip is to use the subtitle function in movies. It's especially helpful for advanced learners who want to challenge themselves.
Right, and turning subtitles on in English allows you to match the spoken word with the text. After you watch a scene once with subtitles, try turning them off and see how much you can understand.
Exactly. It's a gradual process that boosts your confidence. And if you're ever unsure about a word or phrase, pausing the movie and looking it up is always a great idea.
And don't forget, Emma, movies are full of accents. If you're learning British English, try watching British films like Notting Hill or A King's Speech. They'll introduce you to a different way of speaking.
Yes, and if you want to understand American slang, you might want to try films like The Hangover or Superbad. They're packed with casual language and expressions that are often used in everyday conversations.
Right. And let's not forget the power of context. Watching movies gives you the opportunity to understand how context influences the meaning of words.
Exactly. Sometimes the meaning of a word changes depending on the situation. For example, the word bad can mean something negative, like in Bad Boys, but it can also mean good or cool in a slang context.
Exactly, and this is where movies are so beneficial. They show you how the same word can be used in different ways depending on tone, context, and culture.
Right then. And for all of you watching, remember that learning English through movies doesn't happen overnight. It's all about consistency and practicing regularly.
That's the key. The more movies you watch, the more you'll improve your vocabulary. It's a fun, effective way to learn.
We hope these tips will help you incorporate more English into your daily routine. Now, to wrap things up, let's summarize our key takeaways for today.
First, movies are an excellent way to improve your vocabulary as they expose you to real-world language, slang, and idiomatic expressions.
Second, use movie quotes to help you sound more natural and to practice intonation and rhythm.
Third, watch movies from different cultures to learn diverse accents and expressions.
And lastly, don't forget to practice listening and speaking regularly. Repetition is key.
Before we end today's episode, let's talk about a fun challenge for our viewers. If you're watching this broadcast, we challenge you to choose a movie from our list and watch it this week.
That's right. After watching, pick at least 5 new words or phrases you learned and try using them in your conversations. Share your progress with us in the comment section below. We'd love to hear how it's going for you.
Exactly. And for those of you who might be wondering, we've included a list of recommended movies in the description box.
These movies have been carefully selected to help you improve both your vocabulary and listening skills.
So whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your English, these films will help you on your language learning journey.
And don't forget, movies are just one of many ways to learn English. There are also podcasts, TV shows, online courses, and plenty of other resources you can use. But using movies to learn English is an incredibly engaging and entertaining method.
Absolutely, John. It's important to keep your learning fun and engaging. The more you enjoy the process, the more likely you are to stick with it and see results.
One more thing before we go. Make sure you practice every day, even if that's just for a few minutes. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint.
That's a great reminder, John. Consistency is key. And remember, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process.
Exactly. Keep watching, keep practicing, and keep growing your vocabulary. We're confident that if you follow these tips and keep watching movies, your English will improve faster than you think.
And finally, thank you all for joining us today. We hope you found this episode helpful and motivating.
Don't forget to subscribe to English Broadcasting Studios for more tips, tricks, and useful lessons on learning English. We'll be back with more fun and engaging content to help you become a fluent English speaker.
Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and remember, learning English is a journey, and it's one we're happy to be a part of with you.
See you in the next episode.
Take care and happy learning.